Now you have this tool is actually the crop tool, which means that you can simply cut the page wherever you do want it. For example, you have this entire canvas and you don't want this piece right here. It actually bothers you. This red is too annoying. So you can just go there and clip it, and there you go. You clip it. You can go there and pick this and clip that. Now you have to keep in mind that when you do this, you are losing the A3 format that you created before. So to keep it in format, you can just click on one of the corners. If you don't click anything, you just click on it, you see that it's very non-uniformal. But if you want to make it uniformal, you can click Shift and hold it. There you go, you have it uniformal. It keeps the format of the A3, but keep in mind that you're losing pixels, which means that this is a very low resolution image, while this is an A3 size image. Now, the simple basic way to undo and redo is Ctrl Z, but most people find something very frustrating in Photoshop. Let's just draw something here really quickly, and let's make it yellow. Now the frustrating thing is, when you undo, you can only undo one level by clicking Ctrl Z. It undoes the creation and then redoes it. Undo and redo, undo and redo. Now, for a long time, people thought that there is no undo more option, but actually if you go here, you will see that there is something called step backward. That is the actual undo that goes more backwards in time. And you'll see that the shortcut right here is Alt, Control and Z. So if you click Alt, Control and Z, you can keep undoing. Then if you click Ctrl Z again after you undid all of these stuff, it goes back to the beginning. Now the reason why they have this feature is for comparison. If you thought that, well, okay, I'm gonna create yellow and then red and this and that and this, and then you thought, I don't know, let's compare it to the previous one. Let's do undo, 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 undo. Just go back to the beginning. Okay, now this was the black option that I had. Let's compare it with the previous one. Let's just click Ctrl Z. No, I like it like this more. There you go. This is the main idea behind undo and step backwards. Now what if I want to redo stuff? It's actually the redo stage change. It's the same thing, Ctrl Z, right? But it's the step forward. Right now, since we are at the last thing that we created, which is the yellow option, that's why it's grayed out. You can't click it. But if you do Alt Control and Z and undo, and then go back here, you'll see that Shift Control and Z is the redo. The option is active. The main tool that we have in our kit is the brush tool. The brush tool is simple. Just like any other brush in real life, you can just go there, create a new layer, call this green, and then go here, pick the green color and paint with it. It's a painting tool. Now under the brush tool, as we said, there is this arrow, which means that we have different tools. We have the pencil tool. Pencil tool is much sharper, much stronger, and it doesn't have a gradient option. It has the hardness to it, but it doesn't do anything. Basically, it's a one tool that creates a pen. So, for example, if you want to draw and write, you use the pen. If you want to do painting, you can go for brush. It has the smooth option. Now, what if I want to change the hardness of this brush? You can just right click and you'll see that there is a size and a hardness. You can go for hardness, make it much harder, and there you go. Or make it less harder, in between. And that's it. Let's clear this, clear that. Control A delete, Control A delete, Control A and delete. Now, this is actually the basic tool that we're going to use. We have also the pen tool, which is very similar to Illustrator, but at the same time it's not. Basically, this creates a path. In Illustrator, it will be a vector-based path, but here you can actually stroke it using a tool that you have. For example, now we have the brush tool. The brush tool is very big. Let's make it smaller. Then go back to the pen, which the shortcut for it is P. You can just right click here and do stroke path. You can pick which tool you're going to use. You have a pencil, a brush, an eraser, whatever you want to do. Let's say brush for now, and say OK. There you go. It's selected, and it's actually struck using the brush tool. Let's click escape. In escape, you can actually just remove the pathway that you just created, and you keep the stroke that you have. Now this is much cleaner than doing this. You see? Again, go to pen, deselect. There you go. This is this stroke that you created. Now Control A and delete. What if I want to open a specific map that I downloaded from Digimap? We can simply go for File, Open. Or, as you can see, the shortcut is Control and O. Let's click Control and O. We have VMap, which is virtual map. Click on it and click OK. This opens up the file that you downloaded. Again, this is not like in Illustrator. In Illustrator, the import or the file open feature, it will actually open it as vector base, which means you can select all of these lines easily. But in Photoshop, it's more of an artistic tool. It's not exactly a technical tool like AutoCAD in these softwares. So basically, you can go for the one tool. What if I don't like this green, you know? You can just go for the one tool and click here. It will select whatever you have inside there. Now, you will notice that it's only selecting within this range, which means that this is the same green as that. But why isn't it selected? Because it's divided by having this line right here. So what if I want to select all of the green all over the map? You can go, you see here, as we say, this bar right here is changed based on the option that you have, on the tool that you have. So for example, you have here this option. You can just untick it and click here. It will select it all over the map. Now let's say I want to take this and make it separate in a different layer. How do you do that? You have a couple of options. In Photoshop is a very artistic tool and it has a lot of options, just like in every other software. You can either cut it simply like in Microsoft Windows. You can just click Control X, that's cut. Then Control V, that's paste. There you go, it's there in a different layer. But you would notice that it's shifted. So how do I paste it in the same location where I cut it? You can just Control Shift V. Holding Shift is most of the time used for placing items in a correct position. So Control Shift V would place it in its own position wherever you cut it. Now you can see that it's in a different layer. You can just turn it off, turn it on. Let's turn it off for now. I want to also separate this brown layer. You can select the brown all over the map, Control X, Control Shift and V. Oops, we actually selected something else. What happened there? What happened is I was on this layer. I was actually on this layer, right? So when I clicked this, Control X, even though I selected the brown, I click Control X, I'm actually cutting out of this layer. So this is a thing that you're gonna face sometimes, and you might not know what just happened. But right now you can actually see that we were on this layer. Even though it's hidden, even though we're not on it, it's gonna select from it. So what we are gonna do is go to this layer, cut, and Control Shift V. There you go. Again, we're gonna do the same mistake. Select here, Control X, doesn't work. Control V is gonna select this, paste the same thing. So now we're gonna select this layer, Control X, Control Shift V, and there you go, it's on its own layer. Now we're gonna name these layers as usual. Let's call this green, or we can call it landscape, or whatever you feel like calling it. This is gonna be buildings. Hide it. And this is gonna be plots. Oh, here you go. We have 1, 2, and 3. These are our layers. Now what if I want to take this layer into a different tab? You see here we have different tabs. We have this tab which we had open a while ago. Let's consider this our first page in an art book. This is our second page. Now the easy thing is we can actually take this from here to there. How do we do that? It's simple. You go to the move tool. Instead of moving this in here, you can simply drag it to right here. Now you can see that it's not placed properly. So how do we place it properly? As we said before, Shift is for placing things properly. So let's move it here. Hold Shift while dragging it here. It drops it exactly where it should be. Same thing with this. Let's go for the brown layer. You take it, drag it. If we drop it normally without Shift, it goes wherever it goes, you know. But if we go here and drag it, then hold Shift while placing it, it would drop it exactly where it should be. Let's go with that. Now, for this option, we're going to do something different. There's another option. Again, Control A, Control C. Control C is for copy. You shift to the other page, which is Control Tab. If you click Control Tab, you're going to shift between the two documents. Then you can click Control V. Again, it's not going to be properly placed. See, it's shifted a little bit. So you can click Control Shift and V, and we place it properly. There you go. We have all this stuff. Now we're going to go here, select all of these layers. There's no need for them. Let's delete them. We're going to select this layer and delete it. And then we're going to select all of these layers by clicking the first one and then Shift here. There you go. We have this selected. All of them are actually inside this Colors tab. What if I want to shift this to a different tab? Easy. Hold it, drag it into Architectural. Hold it and drag it to Architectural. Click on it, hold it, drag it to Architectural. There you go. Now this tab is empty. Go here, go there. Very simple transfer.